Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review is going to be, well, as you can see from the thumbnail, it's going to be about this Vosker security camera I installed up at my camp in Northern Ontario a couple of years ago. And when I first got this camera, I thought, man, this is just slick. I mean, it takes pictures, sends it cellularly to my phone. I got an app on my phone. And every time something would detect motion, it would go by, send a picture to my phone. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. $11.50 a month for up to 500 pictures. And I thought, this is just the best camera. Like, I mean, I should have had this years ago. And then it came to the winter. And, well, my attitude towards this camera went from the best camera ever to Vosker sucks. And so has my opinion changed? Well, this is the next year of how this camera performed, because after the first year, when it come to the cold weather, the camera just shut down. And in the springtime, I went up there and I opened up a little box on the bottom of the camera. This is the V150. I turned it off, turned it on, and it rebooted and it went back up. So, what happened this year? Well, I come to the second week in January and Vosker sucks. The camera just shut down. I'll show you a screenshot of the app. And if you take a look right here, you could see, well, the bars for the signal strength is right up there. And it shows medium power. Now that when it was showing that medium power, if you go on your laptop or your computer, it'll show, for me, it showed 40%. And once this thing gets down to 25%, apparently, by the instructions, it shuts down and won't boot up again until the battery is charged up enough so that it will start to transmit again. So the last time it transmitted was the second week in January, and it hasn't woke up yet. I'll wait until maybe March, because as soon as it stops transmitting, that's it, I stop paying. So I didn't pay for the month. I'm not going to pay anymore. I'm going to turn this camera back on the end of March, and I don't know if it's going to go back on or not, or whether I got to go back up there, turn it off, turn it on, and this kind of stuff. But I'll show you some pictures here. So let's get to the pictures, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to make this Vosker V150 from a camera that really sucks to where it's not going to suck anymore when I'm finished re-engineering this camera. Okay, so here's the first picture, and you could see that it's the early spring, and the camera does take awesome pictures, and that's on the top of my garage. And here's a later picture, and you got the deer out in the front running around. And I don't know what this is, some kind of a crane or something like that. And this is a night picture, but it looks like it's snow on the ground, but it's just black and white. And you can see a deer in the background there. And here's a moose walking around on the front of my garage. Now, if you look on the right, well, that's a red wolf. And you can see some snow on the ground. And here again, you can see some snow on the ground. And, you know, that's the last picture right here. Nice sunny day, last picture. And that's it. Okay, so you've seen all them pictures there. This camera is capable of using the cellular setup that's built inside of it and transmitting pictures. And usually I'll get a picture within 2 to 3 minutes from the time that it sees something in front of it. You know, so I mean, for that part, the camera works great for warm climates. So there's some real engineering challenges that I believe that this camera faces, and it was, I don't believe, in my own opinion, it was never designed to be used in a cold climate, because well, this is the result you're going to get. It's got a lithium battery in there, and from the spring to the fall, it always shows charged, you know, at a very high capacity. I've never had a problem with it from the spring to the fall. As soon as it starts to get cold, and how cold is it getting? Well, I watched the temperature up in Northern Ontario there, and the most I've seen so far was about minus 18 Celsius, which is around 0 Fahrenheit. That's not that cold. The problem with this camera, in my opinion, is it's got a small little solar panel like this. Starts to snow. The snow sits on top of this solar panel and it never melts. It never comes off. So I mean, they do have an auxiliary solar panel you could get. It's much bigger. It's about like this. And all it is really is a solar panel with a built-in battery inside for 175 bucks. And I said, hasta la vista with that idea. No, 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 no. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to re-engineer this thing so that it works off my system I have up there. Now, I'm going to put some videos down below in the description box. If you're interested in having one of these cellular security cameras that I want to make sure nobody's breaking into my place, that's completely useless right now from the, from the late fall to the early spring. But I'm going to make this bulletproof next year. And solar panel, the battery, all that kind of stuff, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's crap. It's no good to me when it keeps on shutting off when it gets cold. You might have this much snow sitting on top of the solar panel. What good is that? As you can see in them pictures, I've got solar panels for my camp, and if you look at the one picture there, you can see where when the sun comes out, solar panels on an angle like this, sun comes out, melts all of it off, drops down to the ground, and you can see a big trough there on the bottom where the panel self-cleaning once it. But when you got a solar panel, I think mine, the angle is about like this. So when you have the snow sitting on top, piling up, and it's got quite the ridge on the top of that solar panel, so it doesn't move off, like melt off like easily. It just stays there. So I mean, that's a design flaw. It's great if you're down in Texas or Florida. This thing is going to be, you'll be more than happy with it. But if you live in the northern states or in Canada, where you get some snow, well, this thing, as far as I'm concerned, is a total bodge. It's a total bodge. So I don't want to go with this auxiliary solar panel that they come up with now. That's completely a flat surface, which is probably a lot better than what they got now on the camera. But I'm going one step ahead. I'm going to make this bulletproof. I'm going to make sure that this camera could work next year 100%, never lose any power. So I mean, I've done a lot of work to get this camera to actually work. So I have a cellular tower and everything. I'll show all the different videos so far of what I've gotten. So you could actually duplicate this self, because a lot of times, if you have a weak signal, a cell signal, well, it's not going to communicate. The worst I ever get is 4 to 5 bars now with the setup I have. Before, it wouldn't communicate. Even on my cell phone, I'm lucky if I can make a phone call or get a text message, because I'm lucky if I get between 1 and 2 bars up there. So I've changed it now. I added a cell tower. But it's not expensive to do all this stuff. But I tell you what, somebody breaks into your place and steals all your stuff. Is it worth, what's that worth to you? Right? So that's why I got this security camera. So it'll communicate instantly. So if I see somebody breaking into my place, I can call the police and they can arrest these guys. But what is the use of having a security camera, Vosker, if this thing gets snow on it in the wintertime, doesn't melt off, and dies? At around the same time every year, it comes to January and it's crap. So I mean, no, this doesn't work for me. If you want to do something, you got to do it right yourself. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to straighten this thing out next year, and I'll take you along and I'll show you what I'm going to do. In the meantime, you can take a look at the videos down below if you like and get some good ideas on what you could do, to protect your property. And I think this camera, after I'm finished redesigning the power supply, I think will be rock solid. But until then, well, Vosker sucks. Thanks for joining me here today, and come back again and see some interesting videos on things you might not see nowhere else, because I tell you what, I don't see too many people out there making videos about this camera, and it's shutting down in cold weather. I mean, it just doesn't work. And it seems like I'm the only one on YouTube that ever had this problem. So, is it just my specific camera? I don't think so, because they're all designed the same. And when you got this much snow sitting on top of a solar panel, you can't expect it to charge up. And it's not like I'm taking hundreds of pictures every day and just killing this battery. No, 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 no. Once I would say the end of November comes around, there's nothing coming around my property anymore anyways. So thanks for joining me here today. Come back again and see some interesting things that hopefully, well, you learn a little bit from. I learn as I'm producing these videos, and I like to share what I do. And one thing I'm going to share is how to make this camera actually work. Cheers.